Soybeans and soy oil both higher Tuesday. It follows yet another major announcement of renewable fuels. Delta Airlines agreeing to buy 250 million gallons of sustainable aviation fuel from Aemetis. Sustainable aviation fuel is made from feedstocks like vegetable oil, animal fats, wood residue, or even sugar and ethanol. Now, the 10-year deal is worth more than $1 billion, including tax credits, and is expected to be available for use by Delta in 2024. Farm Journal's Tyne Morgan has more on the growing potential of this market for soybean growers.
Here now, Dan Vossi talking about the opportunity with the sustainable aviation fuel and, the commitment not just to reduce airlines' dependence on fossil fuels, but eliminate it. And you think about, could soybeans have its ethanol moment coming up? Do you think that's a real opportunity, Dan?
Well, I think it's a tremendous opportunity and very real. I mean, this is a social issue, not a mandated issue, and that's the difference as we look at it. Right now, it's concentrated to the airline and the West Coast, but I think going forward, if we can replace just 5% of jet fuel, we just don't have enough soybean oil available.
So as we look at some of these processing plants come online, realistically, to meet some of these goals, even in the near term, how much more capacity are we going to need here in the U.S. for processing?
So let me put it this way. We need to double U.S. soybean oil supplies. So we're going from 25 billion pounds up close to 50 billion by 2024. That's going to take an increase of the U.S. crush industry somewhere in the vicinity of 60% to get there. That's why you see all these oil companies combining with local crushers, or let's say U.S. crushers here today.
So do you think that we will see the benefits of that on the price side of soybeans in the next couple of years? Is this something that you'll see with the soybeans that you're going to plant next year, the next year? Realistically, when does this demand then hit a local level?
So we will see it both in basis, but more importantly, we will see it in crops. We need more soybean acreage each year, somewhere in the vicinity of 3 to 7 million, depending upon the year and when these refineries are coming online. The market will have that demand pull. So as you start thinking about soybean-corn relationships, soybean wheat or soybean sorghum, these are really important as we think about forward to 2024.
You look at these lofty goals. We've seen a lot of these lofty goals come out. Why do you think this is more sustainable, no pun intended, but sustainable as in it may be here for decades to come?
Well, I think it's the stepping stone to what we would call electrification, at least by this administration. So right now, the focus is all on green fuels. Consumers want to give back to the environment and those kind of means. So as we think about this, I believe that like Europe, there will be a tax on airline tickets that will go back to the jet fuel incident and keep us all engaged.
So bottom line for U.S. farmers out there, and they look at this, and if we are going to see this shift in demand, what's your advice for farmers out there looking at this as an opportunity?
So I want you to think about prices staying higher. We talk about demand drivers in agriculture. There's two of them right now, which is China and corn, and then this big story in renewable diesel. Let's call it something more broader rather than jet fuel. I think both of those will keep agricultural prices high for the next 2 to 3 years.
Wow, Dan, that's amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.